Well, welcome along to this episode. Today we're going to have a look at a material test or a test grid. G'day, I'm Dave TTC and this is Dave's Cave, Australia. And as always, please remember, like, subscribe and watch to the end. So today what we're going to have a look at is a test grid, but this is going to be a mammoth one. This is going to be a big one. Why? Because I'm going a little bit out of the norm. I want to find out about getting colour in slate with a diode laser. So if you've got your device open there and if you're on LightBurn, by all means follow along, otherwise watch me. We go into our laser tools at the top and we've got our material test. So here's a standard test. Let's just say, yep, that's the one we want. We're going to do 10 by 10 with a range of 10% to 100%, 600 mil per minute through to 1800 millimeters per minute. And we'll say, yep, all right, let's preview that. There we go. So that's your standard test. Most people will go for that. Now, depending on what you're doing, you will vary that because you'll have a bit more of an idea where it is that you want to be with the material you're cutting. So for example, normally with slate, I know that I'm going to be looking at somewhere between 3,500 millimeters to maybe 10,000. So in that case, I would change those settings. Now that's probably 3,500 to 10,000. I'd probably go for that there. On a 10 watt diode, I want something different. I want to see if by overcooking it, I can start to get some colour. I know you can get yellow or yellowish, but how yellow can we get it? And what variations are there? And might we get some other colour? Well, let's have a look. All right, so this test grid here, which is a cutting grid, would take 8 minutes and 58. But we're doing an engraving grid, not a cut. So we would need to go into edit the material settings and decide air assist on or off. And so we'd have it off for laser engraving, and line mode, we'd need to change that to fill, either fill or offset fill, depending what we want. We'll leave it as fill. But as I said, here we want to look at something bigger. I have a piece of slate that is 300 by 300. Slate colour test. I've already worked out what it needs to be. So I'll click on that and there's my presets. So I will have, in millimeters per second, 33 rows starting at 300 millimeters per minute, going up to 9,900 millimeters per minute. And then in the power, I'm going to have 37 rows because that's going to take me every 2.5%. So it'll be 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 20, all the way up to 100. So let's do a preview on that. And just so you can see, we've set that air assist off. In fact, I'll do the first one with the air assist on. We'll do two. We'll do one with and one without. So air assist on, and we have it set to fill and at 0.1 millimeter, 0.1 line interval. Okay, so we've got that set. Text, yep, 3000 by 100. That should be okay. We'll stick with that. And the border setting, I've actually disabled the output, so we don't need to worry about that output. All right, so now let's have a look at the preview. There we go. Woohoo, look at the time on that. 4 hours. Okay, I exaggerate. 3 hours and 58 minutes. And 51 seconds. And that's if it runs on time. Usually I find it goes a little bit over, but anyway, that is a mighty long burn. So this is going to be a behemoth, a mega sample burn. So we'll set the laser up and we're going to hit start on that. So here we are. We're going to hit start, and I invite you to come back in 4 hours time and see how we're looking. See you soon. Okay, so we had a little disaster partway through there. Maybe I didn't turn the lock on good enough, or maybe it just came loose with all the movement, but it slid down on the Z-axis. You'll see in a minute when I take you over to the Slate to check it out, but I had to pause the job partway through. I could hear this grinding sound. I'm thinking, what's going on with my lasermatic? And I had to readjust it, tighten it up again, and then resume. So we've lost about 4 rows in the middle. Let's go have a look at it. Okay, so we can have a look here. We'll just zoom down here, and we can see that the range from 3900, 42 and 45, those 3, we had a bit of trouble. And because of the size of the laser head, we can see that it scratched 3 below it. So we missed out on some of 36, 33 and 3000. It seems to be a fairly consistent burn going up with the rest of it. And we've definitely got our yellows. We've definitely got our yellows down in the low range, 3, 6, 9, 1200. The yellow does continue sort of up to about the 3000, and then it fades off over that after that. But we're going to have to do another one. So back at the computer, starting again. I've only got 2 bits of slate. I was going to do one with air, one without, so I'll do the one without, and I'll just have to wait till I've got some more slate of that size. I do want to do one with air and without the mistake in the middle. But let's start this one, and we'll do our 33 by 37 count. We'll go all the way through without the air assist, and we'll compare the two. Stay tuned. So well, here they are side by side. We'll just go down a little bit closer. Our damaged one, as we saw 4 hours previous, and the one without air seems to get a lot more up in the 10% range, whereas the 10%, well, even the 15% dropped off by the time it got up to 3000. This carried on a lot longer, so I don't know if it was something to do with the setting or if it's just simply the difference between air and no air. The yellow seems to be maybe a little less intense on the one with no air. But then the top range seems to suffer with air. We'll have to do some more and compare down the track. But definitely we can get yellows. Okay, throw some light on the matter. So we have them side by side here, and this is the one without air. I would say probably from corner to corner there is yellowish, starting to lose the yellow and then getting to a definite more white grey. But for definite yellow, it stands out most up to around about 1200 millimeters per minute. Above that, it's still a different colour, but you're starting to lose it. But that will give me a reference that I can put up on the wall, and I can dial in according to the colour I want. Looking at the one with air, this one seemed to be much darker on the bottom, and more obviously yellow a little bit higher up. So interesting find there. But then when I got to this area here, with air, I seem to lose any sort of engraving. So it'll be interesting to run this test again when I've got another piece of slate this big and see if I have a consistent find, or if maybe I was just a little bit out with adjusting the height of the laser. That's inconclusive, so stay tuned. Why the test? Well, I mentioned I want to get colour. Why do I want to get colour? Because I'd like to do a chessboard. But I don't just want black and white. I actually want to highlight just a little strip around the squares. And I want to do a chessboard on Slate. So stay tuned for an upcoming episode where we'll both design and engrave a chessboard on Slate. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, subscribe and share. See you on the next one. Bye for now.